Hello, everyone, and welcome to those of you who have joined us today from Asia and Europe for this country-focused workshop series where we're navigating science and technology diplomacy ecosystems. Here we are today focusing specifically on Indonesia and the role of academia and research institutions in the Indonesian science and technology diplomacy ecosystem. We're very happy to be organizing this workshop series in partnership with the National Research and Innovation Agency of the Republic of Indonesia, or BRIN for short, as you may be hearing me referring to it throughout this session. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Lilia Regnell, and I am project executive at the Asia Europe Foundation. And I have the pleasure of working with BRIN on this workshop series and specifically on our projects which relates to science and technology diplomacy within our organization. I have the pleasure of being the MC today, and I will guide you through the 2 hours that we have ahead of us for today's webinar. At this point, I would like to give you an overview of what we have ahead of us for these 2 hours. I will start with a brief introduction to the initiative, the Science and Technology Diplomacy Initiative here at ASEF, to give you a bit of context on why we're organizing this workshop series and how we came about it. I will then hand over the floor to Prof. Edegiri for his keynote presentation, where he will set the scene on today's topic and the role of academia and research institutions in this ecosystem. And then for the second half, our second hour of today, we will be doing a panel discussion and a Q&A with our distinguished guests today who are ready to share their insights on perspectives and expertise on especially the role of academia and research institutions in this specific complex intersection between science, innovation, technology, policy, and diplomacy. And as we have the opportunity for you to ask questions, you can use the Q&A function that is in this Zoom webinar and available on your Zoom panel. So here you can ask your questions, share your thoughts. You can also upvote any questions that you find particularly interested and want to ensure that our moderator will see and share with the panelists. And then we'll be able to get your input and help you guide the discussions of today's session. So without further ado, allow me to just give this overview of the initiative and what we do within our organization. So as many of you may already know, Asia Europe Foundation, or ASEF for short, is an intergovernmental organization which focuses specifically on bridging the gap and strengthening mutual understanding between Asia and Europe. And we do so across a number of different thematic areas. The projects that we are organizing is within education, but we also do projects within culture, governance, sustainable development, etc. And all of this we do in an attempt to bring together governmental and civil society stakeholders to strengthen connectivity and bring about collaboration opportunities to solve global challenges and work for common good between the regions. And recently, we have done so within the focus of furthering this goal within the field of science and technology diplomacy. As of last year, in 2024, we conducted a mapping exercise across our member countries in Asia and Europe to bring about knowledge on science and technology diplomacy initiatives and strategies that are in place in our member countries in Asia and Europe. And we produced a report based off of this, which covers our member countries. And following this report in 2025, this year, we wanted to give a specific highlight and spotlight a couple of countries who are actively contributing to this field and provide the opportunity for more stakeholders to know how to engage with these countries, how to collaborate, and also learn from the countries in terms of their best practices. So we're doing so over these workshop series, focusing already on Malaysia and Kazakhstan, and of course this workshop series on Indonesia, as well as one on Thailand. And across 3 weeks, we're focusing in on the role of government strategies and actions, as of today, academia and research institutions, and also on businesses and the private sector. So that is a bit on the context of this workshop series that we're organizing. And with that in mind, I hope that you have a bit of an overview as we go ahead into our first part of today's session, which is our introductory lecture. And I would like to take the opportunity here to introduce our speaker for today, Prof. Edegiri Rahmanputra, who is the Deputy Chairman of Human Resources for Science and Technology at BRIN, where he's been since 2023. He started his research career as a researcher at the National Nuclear Energy Agency in Indonesia, or Batam, in 1994. And in his management career, he served as the director for Polytechnic Institute for Nuclear Technology in Yogyakarta in Indonesia from 2016 to 2021. He has strengthened collaboration in the nuclear education field with universities and research institutions, and particularly those in Russia and in Thailand. And as the current Deputy Chairman for Human Resources of Science and Technology, he has the responsibility and authority to develop and strengthen specifically the capacity of national science and technology human resources, which also works in collaboration with other ministries, universities, research institutions, and industries. So with that in mind and bridging these gaps, we're very excited to have Prof. Edegiri with us here today. And with that, I would like to hand over the floor to you for your introduction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liana. A very good afternoon, a very good morning to all audience for this webinar. So I would like to present my presentation this afternoon. Can I share my presentation? Right. Thank you very much. This afternoon, I would like to present regarding about the role of especially for the research institute in Indonesia for science and technology for diplomacy ecosystem. I am Edegiri Rahmanputra from the National Research and Innovation Agency of Indonesia, or BRIN. So, yeah, in Indonesia, research ecosystem, is a very vital national development, innovation and technological advancement. So there are several institutions play a very important role in Indonesia, like the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, and also the National Research and Innovation Agency. And the next one is the Regional Research Agency, and of course, our university. So the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology is responsible for formulating policies that promote higher education and research activities. It ensures that integration of research funding into educational curricula, support funding allocation for research projects, and promote international collaboration. Its role is a foundation to setting the strategic direction for national research development. The second one, we now in Indonesia has the one only governmental research organization or research agency. We call the National Research and Innovation Agency, or BRIN here. BRIN acts as the central coordinating body for research and innovation in Indonesia. It's a consolidate research effort across the various sectors, allocate the National Research Fund, and promote multidisciplinary and collaborative projects. BRINs also facilitate linkage between research outcomes and industry, aiming to impactful application. The third one is the universities or higher education institution. University as primary site for academic research and innovation. They nurture future scientists, generate new knowledge through research program, and often serve as incubator for startups or technical solutions. Their collaboration with other institutions enhance knowledge dissemination and also practical application. And of course, other agencies like a Regional Research and Innovation Agency and other ministry is also important to us how we can collaborate and coordinate one to each other in order to strengthen our research and ecosystem, research and innovation ecosystem in Indonesia. So next, I would like to emphasize regarding about our agency. Actually, this is a new agency in Indonesia, just 4 years, established in 2021. BRINS has a very important duty or function Actually, we have a very important function as a policy recommendation provider. So BRINS has the capability to provide the recommendation, policy recommendation to our government, to our central government, and also for our regional government in Indonesia. Second one, BRIN acting as the executing agency. Why? Because under the BRIN, we have 12 research organization, including 85 research centers, and also we have another 28 research collaboration center in collaboration with the university in Indonesia. So actually, acting as a executive agency, this is the media where the research and innovation can be developed between the brain and our colleagues from universities, other institutions, or even with the international organization. And the third function of the BRIN, this is very important. BRIN is acting as a funding agency. So BRIN can provide support for the research grant, for the infrastructures, and also for the mobility program, for the capacity building program, for mobility, for the human resources. So I think this is a very overall of our agency, and very important as an enabler for national research and innovation ecosystem in Indonesia. So under the BRIN, I mentioned before, we have 85 research centers and another 28 research collaboration center. This research collaboration center was established between BRIN and the local university. So you can see almost across Indonesia, we have a research collaboration center, with the specific subject, to support our research activity that can be conducted between BRIN and the local university in Indonesia. Regarding for the international collaboration center between the BRIN and the overseas university institution, now we're under preparation, and we hope in the coming soon we can also establish the regulation for the international research collaboration center, the collaboration between the BRIN and the overseas institution. So next one, what we actually established during the last 3 years, this is the strategy of the BRIN, how we can engage the research and research collaboration for the global engagement. So actually, the most important things how we can engage the global, how we can have the global engagement is the open platform strategy. So we have to open for the sharing modality between the human resources, funding, and also for the infrastructures. So of course, to establish our capacity to establish the research and innovation, we have to have a very strong collaboration with the academic from the universities, and also for the others funding agency to support the research and innovation ecosystem in Indonesia. And also we are open to this collaboration, not just only for the local university, local institution, but also the overseas institution. So besides that, we also already prepare regarding about the driving regulation. So through this through this scheme, so already BRIN already prepared how to support our research and innovation, how to support our research and innovation ecosystem. So we have to think about the regulation, regarding about talent management, about the endowment fund, and also about the research permit for foreigner and ethical clearance and other regulation to support research and innovation activity can be conducted in Indonesia. And of course, through this activity, we're trying also to approach the industry. So several regulations regarding about the industry also already established to support our research and innovation that can be also commercialized for the future, where the industry can be taken a part of these activities. So regarding about the funding, actually, BRIN also manages the endowment fund for research. So actually, a lot of a scheme for the funding, and also they established under the BRIN, and BRIN managed the endowment fund, yeah, for the research. And this year, the total of funding of the endowment fund is about 13 trillion Indonesian rupiah. So during 2022 until 2024, we already grant several projects, yeah, with the total funding is about more than 600 billion Indonesian rupiah. So I think this is very important component in the research and innovation ecosystem regarding about the funding, yeah. So in collaboration, we also have some co-funding, yeah, with other countries, with other agency around the world, yeah, like for the Bill Melinda Gates Foundation, yeah, with other DGS from German and other funding agency, yeah, to support our research activity in Indonesia. So I think it's very important and very open to other funding agency over the world. We can collaborate to support our activity even in Indonesia or in abroad. Another thing about the infrastructures, now in the BRIN, we manage the many research facilities, yeah, across the Indonesia. So you can see we have several campus in Indonesia. We have 4 major campus, yeah, located in Serpong, Jakarta, and in Bandung, related to the life science, material science, nuclear science, and also for the electronics and informatics. So other campus, we also have a very special campus for the science and technology education, yeah, located in Jakarta. We also have a national observatory in in East Nusa Tenggara, and also we have another space sport, yeah, will be developed in Biak, close to Papua, and also the research vessel fleet, yeah, located in the Ambon. So I think under the BRIN, so we can integrate the all facilities, the all infrastructure to support the research and innovation activity in Indonesia, and also to support our local researchers, students, and also the foreigner student or researchers. So regarding about the national research infrastructure in Cibinong, we have already like a very big laboratorium, genomic laboratorium, and also we have a greenhouse, and in Indonesia, cultural collection facilities and others, biosafety laboratory, and then other primate case to do some research activity for health or life science or related activities. And then the most important things regarding about the talent, our government already announced the regulation, presidential decree number 108 in 2024. We call the National Talent Management Grand Design. So actually, this regulation, we trying to develop our talents, and we are focused on 3 subjects. First, the research innovation. Second, for the art and culture, and then the sport. Of course, for the research and innovation talents is under the BRIN coordination. So this grand design will be support to provide the excellent talents, especially in the research and innovation for the futures. So in the last 2 or 3 years under the BRIN, we have a very complete schemes, how we engage our young talents, since they are in the university student until they are very excellent talent, and then we can provide a program for the National Talent Appreciation. So we can see the series or the schemes, start from the young talent, like research competition, research grant, student research grant, student internship, already established. 1,000 of students already involved these of schemes, and also degree by research and scholarship. We have already established this scheme, and more than 1,400 postgrad student, yeah, take this scheme, and then you can see that almost 7 or 8% they study in overseas universities. The next one regarding about the mobility program, we already established for the research assistant programs, hands-on training, postdoctoral fellow, visiting researchers, and also for joint research program. So until now, more than 400, 300 awardee for postdoctoral, already joined with the BRIN, and also about 9-10% foreigner. And you can see for the Indonesian awardees, about 1/3 are diaspora. I mean, they are graduate from the overseas university, and then when they finish their doctoral degree, so they join with our program as a postdoc fellow. The next one is for the visiting professor or researchers. Until now, more than 140 professor and researchers join with us in BRIN, and about 50% they are foreigner, and also for the Indonesian citizen, mostly they are diaspora. So it means this is a good strategy how we can attract, how we can invite the potential overseas or foreigner researcher, and also our diaspora to do some research activity in Indonesia, especially in the BRIN. And the last one, we also already established like a National Talent Appreciation, like a Habibie Prize, Nurtani Award, and others award to give some appreciation to our talents when they already they already serve and produce a lot of achievement, for their life in science and technology. So recently, we already established what we call the research collaboration platform. This strategy is to accelerate our human resources capacity building program. So through this mechanism, through this scheme, so we can accelerate as soon as possible our human capacities, So this platform must be supported with funding, like a research grant, mobility program, and also the infrastructures. And at the same time, we can also open the capacity building program, like a research assistant, visiting researchers, degree by research, postdoctoral, and also we can also do some research activities, with collaboration with the global university and research institute in overseas. So through this mechanism, we can accelerate our human resources development in the very short time. So actually, this is a very important regarding about what can we do to attract research activity in Indonesia. So we already know that Indonesia is a country, very rich in biodiversity, geodiversity, and also cultural diversity. It means we can offer so many opportunity for collaborative research and science diplomacy. So this and we know, Indonesia one of the most biologically and culturally diverse country in the world. It is a rich biodiversity, biodiversity and cultural diversity serve as a vital strengths and foster international research collaboration. So yeah. So through this mechanism, so we can provide several mobility program, So we can invite the students, so we can invite the postdoctorals, so we can invite the researchers, to join the many activity in Indonesia based on the biodiversity, geodiversity, and art cultural diversity research collaboration. So I think this is a very important for us, to attract as many as possible overseas or foreigner, to join with our activity in Indonesia. So currently, we already established several platform collaboration, research platform collaboration. Actually, this is a very big project, several platform collaboration already ongoing, like collection, characterization, and pre-breeding of Indonesian white banana, You can see this project for about 3 years, with the grant about 5 billion Indonesian rupiah per year, and we involve many students, more than 25 postdoc and also visiting researchers. The second one's for the terrestrial biodiversity expedition exploration. It also several real activity of research, so up to 3 years with about 7 billion Indonesian rupiah per year, and then involve many students, more than 40 students, postdoc and others distinct visitors. Biology structures, of Indonesian biodiversities also involve many students, more than 50 students, involved this project, more than postdoc and also visiting researchers. The next one is the prehistoric archaeological excavation in Bumi Ayu. This project will run for about 7 years. With a grant about 6.5 billion Indonesian rupiah per year. This project also involve many students, postdoc, and also visiting researchers. Accelerator technology and medical application is quite big project, up to 7 billion Indonesian rupiah for the next 3 years. And then this project also will involve many students. Other research collaboration is for the expedition and exploration of marine and ecological biodiversities, expedition of terrestrial geological for disaster mitigation, and also for the decommissioning and reactor-based technology of radioactive isotope. So actually, this research collaboration platform will attract many students, many postdoc, and many visiting researchers. And I think this is a good scheme, to develop the opportunity to strengthen the collaboration as the collaboration between the BRIN and with the local university, with the overseas university, and also for the international organization. And the last one, we also established a very special PhD scholarship, for the national talent. So you can see we are very, very focused only for the biodiversities utilization, We are focused on the marine and deep sea. We are focused on the space and aeronautics, and also we are focused for the nuclear and ocean technology. Of course, we develop our young talent, our young generation, to be expert on this very special subject, very special field. And then, of course, we try to establish this research also in Indonesia to attract many students, to attract many visiting researchers to come to Indonesia and work together among this project. And as a summary, we would like to inform you that BRIN has very intensive resources to strengthen the research and innovation ecosystem, including the human resources, research funding, and the infrastructure, and has a variety of strategic research platform. And the second, Indonesia distinguished strategic research collaboration as a key to building a research and innovation ecosystem and serve as the platform for global science diplomacy. And the third, developing human capacity to become an excellent or outstanding human resources is a key important component to strengthening the research and innovation ecosystem. And the most important thing is BRIN is mandated to manage national talent, particularly in the field of research and innovation, which will become a driving force for the global competitiveness. So I think all of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and back to the Liana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Eduye, for that introduction and for sharing a bit about how BRIN is structuring their work around research in this focus area. I see that we already have some questions coming in the chat. So at this point, I would like to introduce our chair for both this Q&A following the keynote, but who will also be sharing the panel discussion later as well. Ms. Trisendari, who is the head of the Bureau of Legal and Cooperation at BRIN, who's earned her Bachelor's of Pharmacy from Erlangen University in 2003 and completed her Master's degree in Health Sciences from Queensland University of Technology in Brisbane, Australia in 2008. Ms. Trisendari began her professional career in December 2003 as a policy analyst at the Ministry of Research and Technology. And in 2009, she was appointed as the head of the subdivision. And by 2011, she was entrusted by them to manage the international cooperation initiatives. Now in 2013, she became the Deputy Director for International Work Network, where she oversaw bilateral, regional, and multilateral collaborations, which include the ASEAN COSTI, the APEC PPSTI, the EU, the CEU Net, NAM and ST Center, and ASEM process. Following this role, she now serves also as the head of cooperation division at the Ministry of Research and Technology in Higher Education up until 2020. And also until recently, just this past January in 2005, she also had been serving as the Director of Management for Research and Innovation Permits and Scientific Authorities. So very glad to have you here today, Ibu, and I will hand the floor over to you to help facilitate the Q&A at this stage.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ragnell. Good afternoon from Jakarta, and thank you very much, Professor Edi Giri Rahman, for your very informative presentations. You describe some key actors or key institutions of science technology in Indonesia, and you also elaborated how BRIN plays an important role as an anchor of those research institutions as well as the universities in Indonesia. And you also touched various programs that really support the Indonesia's scientists to have collaborations, especially with their international partners, and they can enhance the science diplomacy through those programs. Yeah, you are very good on the time management, so we have quite time to have discussions, and of course. To make the discussions more engaging, we will open questions from the audience. So if you have questions, please write down on the Q&A features. And in this discussion, I also would like to invite our distinguished panelists here if you have questions or comment on Professor Edi Giri presentations. So, okay, to start, I will read the questions from the audience. We have one question from Clementine Flack. The question is regarding the commercialization support and policies, Professor Edi. Do you have the support to commercialize, for researchers to commercialize their research? So please.
Yes, thank you for the question. And also, yes, like I mentioned before in my presentation, one of our duty is as a funding agency. So as a funding agency, besides we provide the research grant, we provide the mobility program, we provide the research infrastructure also, we also provide some kind of support, how to transformation from the research and development activity to the commercialization. So actually, in Indonesia, we already have several regulation how to support research and development to be commercialization of our industry. So several regulation regarding about the how we have to focus on the local contents, yeah. Because the most important thing we have to concern about the percentage of the local contents to increase to enhance our local industry for that one. And then regarding about the procurement, yeah, we also have some regulation how we can do some procurement through the e-catalog that already established, and also the incentive for the business player. So actually, several regulation already support to give the incentive for the business player, like a support tax deduction up to 300%. And also incentive for the inventor, yeah. So it means some regulation and also royalty for the inventor also be established under our national regulation in Indonesia. So I think this is also very important for us how to accelerate for the R&D activity to be commercial activities, and then can be implemented to be can be implemented further for the industrial product for that one. So I think that's all my response. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. So it's very compact and complete package here for support from the government of Indonesia, not only doing the research or mobility scheme, but also support to commercialize the research result. So thank you. So before I read again the question from audience, I would like to invite if any of the four panelists here would like to give the comment or questions to Professor Edi Giri. Okay, if not, then I will read again, Prof. Edi. The questions, you been explain about some scheme to support the researchers in Indonesia to have collaborations. So in your experiences, do you think which schemes are most impactful to promoting the international scientific cooperations?
Right. This is very, very important question, I think. So it's based on our experience for the last 2-3 years, we noticed that postdoctoral and visiting researchers is very important schemes, to accelerate our capacities, So we can invite the postdoc, especially for the overseas fellow, and then also visiting researchers, This is also very important to us to accelerate our capacities, And then to enhance the collaboration between the Indonesia and the other countries, in terms to increase the capacity of the research and innovation also. So I think through the mobility program, for the postdoc and the visiting researchers will be give a very big impact, to accelerate our quality, of our research in Indonesia especially, and also based on our our strength, our characteristic, like biodiversities, maritime, deep sea, geodiversities, and also for the cultural diversity. This is also a very, very important subject that can be explored more deeper, with our collaborators, for overseas researchers, and then through this collaboration, so we give a good impact for our research in Indonesia. So that's our experience for the last 2-3 years regarding about the mobility program for our talent, national talent, or maybe for the foreigner.
Okay, that's very interesting because you mentioned and pick the mobility program is as the most impactful scheme that you have in BRIN in promoting international scientific collaborations. So I would like to dig more detail regarding the mobility program that you have in BRIN, because you mentioned that through your presentation, you have data about how many scientists that already involved and participate in each of the program. So I would like to draw this into our theme today, the role of academia and also the research institution. Of course, it involves the researchers as a persons in Indonesia science technology diplomacy ecosystem. So in your opinion, and of course through your experiences in doing the mobility program, how this scheme can build the trust, and share understanding between the two nations, because you involve so many international collaborators, researchers from other countries. Do you think how this program can build the trust between the two nations, especially in this geopolitical issue?
Yeah, okay. It's very difficult question, I think. Yeah, that's true. The research collaboration must be built based on the trust. First, it's chemistry. Yeah. So between our researchers and the overseas or the foreigner for that one. So we should find some good chemistry between our researchers and the foreigner researchers for that one. And through this communication, through this contact, through the interaction, so by the time they will develop the trust for that one. So normally, what we learn from our program or schemes, mostly they will contact their previous university or institution in abroad. When somebody already graduate from the university in abroad, they still keep contact with the previous university, with the previous research group, with the previous professor, and then through this scheme, so they can develop for the future collaboration. Yeah, and then they also not just only to continue, but also to expand and then to extend the collaboration between our researchers and then their previous research group or their previous professor in overseas for that one. So I think we learned that through this mechanism, so we can develop as many as possible the research collaboration between Indonesian scientists, Indonesian researchers with the overseas scientists or researchers for that one. So this is our experience, based on our scheme that already established regarding a postdoctoral and the visiting research program for that one.
Thank you so much. Because we just talking about the geopolitical issue, then we have questions that relate to this from the audience. I will read about it. It's from Francisco Gomez. As we see that the government of a USA, they put the policy on increasing the tax, right? The new tax, and it's also applied to Indonesia as well. I cannot recall the exact number. I think it's around 30 something, 32 or 30 something percent. Yeah. So the questions from Francisco is how this new tax regulations from the US affect to specifically to Indonesia.
Wow. Yeah, it should be must be affected to Indonesian, yeah. But based on my opinion, uh, I'm not really sure about what is it the true of this effect about the USA tax to our country for that one because I'm not have a capability to answer this kind regarding about the tax and others for the economic impact regarding about the American policy or strategy or maybe others related with the American policy for that one. I'm sorry that I can give a very good answer for this question for that one.
Yeah, that's okay, Prof.
Yeah, very difficult.
It's a bit
Yeah,
beyond our
yeah,
today discussions, but I think it's good to put it in our mind. Yes, some
yeah,
things policy in different sector will
yeah.
affect activities in
Of
research
course,
and
of course.
innovations. Yeah,
Yes,
for
yes,
sure.
yeah, for
So if
sure.
I still have time, Ms. Ragnell, okay. I saw Professor Indi raise the hand. So please, Prof. Indi, if you have a comment or questions to Prof. Edi Giri.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Trisundari. Thank you for nice presentation, Prof. Edi Giri. I think I have a short comment regarding the Prof. Edi Giri presentation and it related the ecosystem research and development in Indonesia. So I have to point the first, the BRIN is increasingly positioned as a key actor in Indonesian international science diplomacy, I think, representing a national interest in global scientific forums and facilitating international cooperation. And the second one, I think, BRIN and other research institutions in Indonesia are not engine of the scientific knowledge, but also as a key enablers of the science and technology diplomacy through education, research, and international cooperation and policy advice that contributes substantially to Indonesian global standing and ability to engage in the international science-based decision making. I think Ibu Tri, two short comment regarding the Prof. Edi Giri presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Indi. Prof. Edi, do you want to respond or?
BRIN is the one and only governmental research institution or research agency in Indonesia. I think is as a key player, to strengthen our research and industrial ecosystem in Indonesia. Like I already mentioned before, BRIN has a very important function or duty, a very important duty as a funding agency and also for the executing agency. So all this duty coordinated by the BRIN. So BRIN also manage beside the funding funding for the grant and also for the infrastructure. And the most important thing also manage very, very big facilities. Yeah, I think this big facility cannot be available managed by other institutions, especially for the universities, like fleet of research vessel, big national laboratory, and nuclear reactors, a satellite one. So through this strategy of the BRIN, so this facility, this infrastructure is open for everybody, for the local students, local researchers, scientists, and then we can utilize all this infrastructure facility in order to enhance our capacities, in research and innovation for Indonesia for that one. So I think that's why BRIN is a very important key player to accelerate the research and innovation ecosystem in Indonesia. So, and also for the what we call it the permit, the foreigner to do some research in Indonesia. Also BRIN established some regulation to give some permit for the foreigner for doing the research in Indonesia also. So I think this is all that BRIN can act as a key player for the enhancing and strengthening the research and innovation ecosystem in Indonesia.
Right. Prof. Edi is wonderful.
Yeah.
But we still have questions from audience. If we need to answer it, you also can see it if I'm not mistaken. But I will read it for you. It's from anonymous attendee. I think she or he is very shy to say the name. Okay, the question is on the effort to nurture the national talent pool. Yeah, I would like to know more on how BRIN takes part in ensuring the robust talent pool, not only in the academia world, but also the professional setting as well. So how BRIN play its part in ensuring the continuation of the good governance initiative. So please, Prof. Edi.
Yes, I think this is another duty of the BRIN. Very, very nice question. That's true, because for the talent pool development, we are not only concerned about the talent from the university, but also for the industry. So actually, many researchers from the industry also involved in our program, especially for the degree by research program. So they join with us, do research together with our researchers, and also through this mechanism, so we can identify their capacity, their talents, and then very important to support them, to establish their research activity or their R&D activity in industry. So I think beside that one, we also have a scheme to to encourage our technopreneur, actually for the graduate students, So we have a several scheme to engage our graduate students, who really interest, not doing for the academic or research activity, but they have to develop their own business like startup companies, based on the science and the technology. So we also have this scheme to support them to be an entrepreneur or technopreneur for the futures. So that's right. It means that BRIN not also consider about young talent for university for doing the academic or research activity only, but also we support, we also encourage students or maybe researchers, from the industry to be the next or maybe the future technopreneur to develop their own company, their own startup company, and others, something like that. So that's right. Thank you very much for your question.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Eddie. And it's also about the time. I think we can wrap up for the first session for the keynote lecture till now. And thank you very much, Prof. Eddie Giri, for your valuable sharing to all of us. It's really informative and giving us more ideas how to enhance our international collaborations as well as strengthen our science diplomacy. So with that, I give it back the screen to Ms. Raquel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Tri, and thank you, Prof. Edigiri, for your presentation and for engaging in the questions, both with our panelists that we'll be introducing, as well as our audience. Thank you for your time and for being with us. Of course, you're welcome to stay with us for the second half and to listen into the panel, but we're also aware that you might have other obligation, and we thank you for being with us here today. Thank you very much. Okay, as Ibu Tri mentioned, we will be going into our second half of today's session, which is our panel discussion. So I invite her to stay with me here on the screen as I also introduce you to our panelists that will be engaging in the dialogue that we have in front of us. Allow me to introduce our first panelist today, Prof. Oki Karana Rajasa, who is the chairman of the Research Organization for Earth Sciences and Maritime at BRIN. He oversees their 9 different research centers and holding a PhD in marine microbiology, an MS in microbiology, and a BS in biology as well. He has a vast academic background as well. We'll see if he joins us in a second. I think might be experiencing some difficulties, but allow me to continue with the introduction as he joins us as well. His research specializes specifically in marine biodiversity and micro prospecting. And previously, he has also served as a deputy for earth scientist at the Indonesian Institute of Sciences, as well as the director of research and community service at the Indonesian Ministry for Higher Education, Research and Technology. He has a number of different accolades, which includes the Cipta Lestari Ketati Award, the Collaborative Development Award, BioVish and Catalyst Award, as well as the Habibi Prize as well. You can learn more about him as well as our other speakers. I will give a summary, let's say, of their bios on our website. But we're very thankful for Professor Oki for being with us here today. Our second panelist, as we continue as well, give me a second here, is Prof. Dr. Indi Dharmayanti, who is the chairman of the Research Organization for Health at the National Research and Innovation Agency, so at BRIN, as well as the former director of the Indonesian Research Center for Veterinary Sciences at the Ministry of Agriculture. Prof. Indi is an expert in virology, emerging and re-emerging diseases, molecular biology, and vaccinology, and has been previously involved in many international activities, which includes the Asian Pacific Infectious Diseases Shield. She's prepared the Indonesian concept for collaborative research on holistic health and in the post-pandemic period, and also been involved in the regional consultation on health research, government, and management to provide strategies for health research under the WHO Southeast Asian region. She's also served as a leader of many international projects and has received awards such as the Satilancha Pemangguan, the 95 Expiring Women from Ministry of Women Empowerment and Child Protection, and the third winner of Best Research from Kaverisek Science Award. And I can list a number of different ones, but you can have the full list as well on our website. As well. So we thank very much Dr. Indi for being with us here today. Our third panelist is Dr. Anders Hammurabi Rosak, who is a research professor on ecology and conservation at BRIN, and is currently appointed as the chairman of the Research Organization for Life Sciences and Environment. And the role of this research organization specifically is as an executing agency of research and innovation, and specifically dedicated to comprehensive research, development, and innovation in the field of science, life sciences, and environment. The organization here focuses on fundamental and applied research and innovation, providing also crucial scientific input for biodiversity conservation, sustainable resource management, and environmental protection. So they're structured into 8 specific research centers, and through these, they actively contribute to the development of science and technology and provide policy recommendations, foster extensive international collaborations, also to advance science and its standing in addressing critical environmental challenges as well. So with that background, we're very happy to welcome Dr. Anders to today's panel. We also then have our fourth and final panelist, Dr. Tatas Brotosandarmo, who is a biochemistry professor at Petra Christian University in Surabaya, Indonesia, and with an extensive expertise in food chemistry and analysis. As the Euraxis Worldwide representatives, he's also the key mediator in strengthening Europe-ASEAN scientific ties, focusing on research initiatives like the Horizon Europe program and promoting researcher mobility and exchanges. With over 20 years of research management experience, Dr. Tatas provides consultancy services to ASEAN institutions, helping them build resilient research frameworks, drive innovation also in the field, and to cultivate strategic partnerships between different institutions. He has received prestigious awards and fellowships, and also has held notable positions such as the president of the Indonesian Chemical Society and the vice president for science and policy at the Indonesian Young Academy of Sciences. As the founding chair of MCAA Southeast Asia chapter, he's also been instrumental in nurturing EU-ASEAN research networks, holding a master's degree in chemistry from the Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich, and a PhD in molecular and cellular biology from the University of Glasgow. He brings a vast global experience to today's panel. We're very excited for having him here today. With that, I've already introduced you to our chair as well, Ms. Trisundari. I would like to hand over the floor to her to facilitate today's panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ragnell. Distinguished panelists, speakers, dear participants, good afternoon again from Jakarta, Indonesia. And here I am, Trisundari. I have the pleasure of chairing the sessions. And in today's session, we focuses on the role of the academia and also the research institutions in Indonesia's science and technology diplomacy ecosystem, and how we can better collaborate with them. And as previously introduced by Ms. Ragnell, we are fortunate to be joined by our 4 distinguished panelists today, and they will share their insight as well as experiences with all of us. So before we begin, let me briefly outline the structure of our panel discussions. There will be around 3rd round. So in the first round, I will pose general questions to all of the speakers. And then in the second round, there will be an individual question for each of the speaker. And if we have time, in the final round, I will invite each of you to have, like a wrap up or last questions that also serve to concluding reflection of this today's discussion. And in addition to that, of course, we will also give the opportunity to our beloved audience to raise the questions as well. So with that, we can begin with our first questions, general questions for all of the speakers. So professors, I would like to ask from your professional experience, how do you think science diplomacy can play an important role in addressing the global challenges? It could be climate change or pandemics that we have a few years back, and also, for example, the emerging technologies like the AI. So in order, I think I would like to invite first Professor Oki, and then followed by the only ladies here, Professor Indi, and then the third will be Professor Tata, and last but not least will be the Dr. Agnes. Would that be okay to all of you? So for the first, please, Professor Oki.
Thank you, Ibu Tri. Yes, science diplomacy plays a critical role in addressing global challenges by fostering at least four different aspects. Number one is to facilitate international collaboration. We believe that science diplomacy creates platforms for scientists, policymakers, and diplomats from different countries to work together on shared goal. For example, in the area of climate change, initiatives like the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, rely on global scientific collaboration to assess climate data and advise government. Number two, building trust and peaceful relation. Science is often viewed as a neutral ground that can bridge political divides. Joint scientific venture build trust, especially when diplomatic relations are tense. Number three, informing policy with evidence. I believe science-based policy is essential in managing complex global issues. And number four is strengthening capacity and equity. Science diplomacy help build scientific capacity, especially in low and middle income countries, ensuring equitable participation in global problem solving. To conclude, science diplomacy is not just about science or diplomacy alone. It is about using science for a tool for global cooperation, peace, and problem solving. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Oki. That's a very interesting perspective. We're not only using science or diplomacy as a single tools, but we combine them to conquer the problems or global challenge. Thank you so much. And the second, I think we can continue with the Professor Indi.
Thank you, Mrs. Tri. Can you hear me? I think
clearly, very clear.
Okay. It's very rainy in here. Okay. As your question, Ms. Trisundari, so I think in line with the Prof. Oki, the science diplomacy plays a critical role in addressing global challenges, especially when viewed through the lens of the health research. Is my scope. challenges like the climate change, pandemic, food and water security, and emerging technology like artificial intelligence, I think transcends national borders and require coordinated international response. For example, science diplomacy contributes significant, especially on health sector. For example, in the global context, health risks such as the Ebola, COVID-19, Mpox, and zoonosis are increasing in both frequency and impact. And for the global trade, travel, and climate change accelerate disease spread. And we know no country can manage this risk alone. So international scientific collaboration and diplomatic action are essential. In term, why the health research matters in the diplomacy. Evidence, for example, evidence for decision that data from the health research inform negotiation on the international treaties, vaccine sharing, and disease control measures. We also focus on enable early warning system modeling and simulation for the pandemic preparedness. And we know as countries that produce and share research are more influential in setting global health agendas and standards. We know on a pandemic situation needed coordinating global health responses. Example, COVID-19 pandemic. So science diplomacy facilitated rapid sharing, for example, for viral genome in the GSAID platform, and also enable cross-border research partnership for vaccine development, and WHO coordination and global health surveillance effort depend on diplomacy between member states and scientific communities. For the issue about the climate change in correlation with the health, we need the science diplomacy, for example, to support a multilateral agreement like this Paris Agreement through scientific evidence, and then enable collaborative research on climate-sensitive diseases such as the malaria, dengue, health-related illness, like the vector-borne diseases. And also in issue about the food and water security, I think the health research contribution can studying about the malnutrition, foodborne diseases, and safe water access, and also supporting One Health approaches that connect human, animal, and environmental health. So, and the last issue about the artificial intelligence and emerging technologies, I think the science diplomacy can help how we can develop a global ethic framework, and maybe also promote equitable access to AI in the health, such as the diagnostic tool for the remote area settings and etc. And also align AI governance in the public health goals and privacy concerns. I think this all my comments, my response, Ibu Tri. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Indi. It's very comprehensive response. And you also put the context in your role as a chairman for the research organization for health, and also the experience in the past when you handling the pandemic situations that needed very rapid actions, and it's also happened globally, and we need that through the bilateral and also the multilateral collaboration. Thank you, Ibu. And then we continue to Prof. Tata. So please, Bapak.
Yeah, thank you. So from my professional experience, I believe that science diplomacy play a vital role in addressing global challenges by fostering international cooperations, promoting shared values. This is very important, and also facilitating innovative solutions that transcends borders. Maybe all of us know that there are four typologies for science diplomacy. Science in diplomacy, and then diplomacy in science, diplomacy for science, and also science for diplomacy. I would like to highlight in this panels sessions is science for diplomacy because it emphasized using scientific networks to build trust. Ms. Trisundari mentioned about that in the previous session, building trust and strengthen relation between countries, serving as a foundation for broader scientific cooperation that enables more complex collaborative efforts. So now because I'm a representative, Euraccess representative for ASEAN. I'm putting my hat now with the perspective of this my professionals in promoting Horizon Europe. So the Horizon Europe program exemplifies how science diplomacy can serve as powerful tools in achieving these objectives. Horizon Europe is a EU or European Union flagship research and innovation funding program with a budget of 95.5 billion euros, meaning in Indonesia is about 1.8 quadrillion Indonesian rupiah. So demonstrate this the potential of science diplomacy in actions. So to date, over 15,000 projects has been funded, investing more than 43 billion euros to tackle critical issues such as health, climate change, energy, and food security. For example, when we are looking back during the COVID-19 pandemic, Horizon Europe supported over 100 projects with an investment of more than 200 million euros to improve understanding of the virus and strengthen preparedness for future outbreaks. So a key feature of this Horizon Europe is its emphasis on international collaborations. And to access funding, researchers must form diverse, interdisciplinary, and multi-sectoral consortia that include global partners. I can give you examples from Indonesia. For example, institutions like IPB, Institut Pertanian Bogor, and Institut Teknologi Bandung, ITB, actively engage in the project, namely iClimate. With this project is with over 4.4 million euros in funding, leverages collaboration among 20 international partners from 16 countries. So this openness, when they come together, encourages knowledge exchange and then joint problem solving, creating impactful solutions driven by diverse perspective. And additionally, Horizon Europe promotes responsible research, promote open science, and also gender equality. These are values that are very important in fostering trust and transparency. And I would like to also highlight that in the case of this Horizon Europe also target long-term societal challenges beyond immediate research. So through funding research on societal issues such as climate change, public health, and food security, the program aims to generate and develop cutting-edge technologies and innovations for industries that can be brought to the societies. But we also have Pillar 1, which is focused on the excellent science, including the European Research Council, ERC, and the Marie Sklodowska-Curie Actions, MSCA, emphasizes the advancing scientific knowledge, excellence, frontier research, and fostering research mobility, which is very essential for addressing complex and long-term global challenges. So in short, from my experience looking from the perspective of Horizon Europe, it demonstrates that international scientific collaboration accelerates innovation, builds this mutual understanding, and then promotes collective global actions to solve these humanity's most pressing problems through the lens of the science diplomacy. Giving back to you.
Wonderful, Prof. Tata. You think on one element, science for diplomacy, yeah, how we use science network, because you are as a Euraxis worldwide representative, if I'm not mistaken, and you already mentioned one of the big platform in Horizon Europe that we can also use for the Indonesian scientists to go globally, to have collaborations, and the key have to be diverse. Yeah, you diversity in multidisciplinary as well as the diverse in the global partners. Very well touched, and it has to be long-term collaborations. Prof. Tata, thank you. And we go to Dr. Andes. So please, Dr. Andes, your views.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tri, and good afternoon, everyone. So I fully agree with all the panelists, and thank you, Prof. Tatas, to highlight about the three-part analytical framework for science diplomacy, science in diplomacy, diplomacy for science, and science for diplomacy. I think that is very interesting. And I would like to add some talk. So I think science diplomacy plays an essential role in addressing global challenge because this issue inherently transcend national borders and demand a level of international cooperation that perhaps traditional diplomatics channel alone cannot consistently achieve. So we in the Research Organization for Life Sciences Environment have a research scope to discover and utilize and advancing our biodiversity sustainably. So just for example, in Indonesia, we have more than 120,000 species of plants, animals, and microbes. And of course, when we are doing research on biodiversity, so we better cannot do it alone. So we need collaboration not only among Indonesian but also with international partners, with foreign researchers to tackle global challenges in terms of biodiversity research. As an example, I think in our research organization, we already have three research collaboration platform, as mentioned Prof. Eddie in the keynote lecture, that can be used to strengthen our research ecosystem, research collaboration in terms of sustainable utilization of our biodiversity. I think all the facilities already been mentioned by Prof. Eddie, and at present in our research organization, we almost conduct a complete path in utilizing our biodiversity from discovery, characterization, and also utilization of the biodiversity itself. So I would like to mention some of example, the three research platform that can be used as a platform to collaborate between us. So the first platform is about the terrestrial biodiversity expedition and exploration that aims at discovering our biodiversity, our treasure, national treasure of biodiversity, including fauna, flora, and microbe in their habitat. And the second platform is about structural biology, which aim at the first step for characterization processes with focus on the identification and utilization of proteins, protein complexes, virus-like particle, and also cell and tissues from Indonesian biodiversity. So in this platform, I think we are in BRIN have an advanced research infrastructure, which is the KUM facilities, the most advanced, I think, in the regional of ASEAN. And the third platform is about bananas for food, which aim to develop a new variety, some variety of a banana from our wild banana. So the activity for this research is involved the collection, characterization, and also pre-breeding of Indonesian wild banana. Maybe the question is, why do we research bananas? So just for global overview, I think in one species, we have one species wild banana Musa acuminata. From that one species, we have at least 16 varieties distributed from western to eastern part of Indonesia, each with specific characteristic. For example, in the western part, we have superior in agronomic properties, and in the eastern part is superior and resistant to drought, and so on. So therefore, we develop a new variety from that kind of Musa acuminata. So those three platforms, I think, of course, offer collaboration, not only for Indonesian, but also for foreigners. For example, nowadays we have already collaborated with colleagues from Europe, the Netherlands, Belgium, and also the Czech Republic. Also, we are collaborating with Africa, Australia, and the US, and also Japan on the Banana for Food program. So in the collaboration, we are not only offer risk activities, as mentioned Prof. Edi before, but we are also offer other programs. For example, we have we offer the capacity development program, the degree by research program, and then the postdoctoral program, visiting researcher program, and also joint research visit. I think all I mentioned before is about science diplomacy. So in terms of how we use science as a tool for diplomacy itself. Thank you, Butri.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Andes. And I really like your tagline by saying traditional or conventional approach is not enough. Yeah, and you also put the context on your research organizations regarding the platform that you already have with international partners as well. So thank you so much. I think we can then continue to our second round. My beloved panelists. So for the second round, I will have individual questions. And if I may, I will start with the ladies, the beautiful one. Professor Indi. Yeah, you in the first round you already explained and the activities in your research organizations. You have a lot of collaborations with the international partners, and sometimes or frequently you got the funding from the funding agency, for example. And I would like to know from your perspective and also the experience you have. How can you ensure the equity and also the inclusiveness when you are doing the international partnership in doing the research? Prof. Indi.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Trisundari. I think for your questions about ensuring equity and inclusion especially in international science partnership is very challenging, requires a deliberate effort, inclusive structures, and power sharings. We have the four focus point, I think, for ensure the equity and inclusion especially in the research for health. So number one about how we can recognize and address the power imbalances. So we need the mapping of the potential and challenges in countries. And then, for example, as Dr. Andes mentioned about the Indonesia have a big biodiversity and need to be explored by foster collaboration with the developed countries. So and in regarding the recognize and address the power imbalances, we need how we can ensure equitable decision making, where developing countries researchers help set agendas and not just implement the projects. And then number one about prioritize local leadership and knowledge. For example, we involve the local scientists and institutions from the start. And then respect and integrated indigenous knowledge system and community expertise. And the third one regarding how we build long-term capacity. So invest for the capacity and capability increasing in our institution, for example, in training, infrastructure, and career pathway. and then support fostering South-South collaboration, partnership between developing countries, and facilitate technology and data sharing, not just data extraction. And the last one about how we can create inclusive funding models, like the Pak Edi Giri presentation, design the funding mechanism that allow equitable access, especially for institutions in the developing countries. For example, in the BRIN, we have the many funding schemes for international collaboration. And I think the global platforms linking science, policy, and equity need the strategic role partnership. International research partnership provide a structure, resources, and trust needed to address global. For in my sector in global health, so example, global to address global health challenges, they connect the science, diplomacy, and funding to ensure evidence-based action and equitable access. For example, in our sectors in health research, for example, CEPI, Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, and then One Health high-level expert panel. This platform create multilateral agreements, co-financing mechanism, and shared government structures. And the last one, they promote equity in innovation by ensuring that LMEI sees not only recipients, but active contributors to research. I think that's all, Ibu Sundari.
Thank you, Prof. Indi. You cover all of the key elements to ensure the equity and also the inclusions when we are doing the partnership with the international partner. Thank you so much. And for the next, I will go to Prof. Tata then. Prof. Tata, you are such a very talented and having a lot of wide network internationally. One we already mentioned about the Euraxis and also the ASEAN, and mostly from the platform you mentioned, European Horizon European is in a very advanced countries in terms of the research and innovations. So, do you have any suggestion for the scientists, especially when they are in the first step on engaging with the international partners, how they can contribute more effectively in a global science diplomacy? What barriers you can based on your experience, and how to tackle that?
Yeah.
Professor
So
Tata.
thank you. Yeah. So to enhance the effectiveness of scientists, yeah, from the global south in the global science diplomacy, participation in initiative like Horizon Europe can be highly beneficial. Horizon Europe offers an opportunity for scientists from very early career scientists. It means when they are they would like seeking for PhD degree until really like a senior top scholars. And of course, I would like to highlight in Indonesia as a country to participating in this Horizon Europe. It means that it could collaborate on the global scale, contributing to significant scientific and diplomatic advancements. Indonesian institutions have shown commendable involvement in the EU Research Innovation Framework. I prepared actually one slide if you would like to know about the situation of participation of Indonesia. Let me try to share it with you. So this is the profile in here. So Indonesia have been very active in involvement in the Horizon 2020, which is started from the 2014 until 2020. And then the ongoing Horizon Europe from 2021 until 2027. So by developing solutions to pressing global challenges and promoting sustainable development. So if you look at from these graphics, a prominent driving force behind this initiative from the academics sides, from higher education institutions. Also, we can see numbers of the research institutions over there. And I would like to actually add one examples that I mentioned before in the first question is related to this is an examples of institution like IPB and ITB involved in this climate projects which focus on the advancing climate resilient and low emissions development strategies. So these projects, which offer 4.4 million euros in funding, leverages collaboration among 20 partners from 16 countries from Europe and also from here we can see exactly the Global South. And this highlighting the importance of collective efforts in tackling global issues. About the barriers, yes, several barriers, however, do hinders these types of collaborations. These include like global, like a geopolitical tension that Mr. Sundari mentioned before, and then also related to the inadequate institutional capacities and coordinations. We can see also disparities in research funding, infrastructure, and then data accessibility between global north-south, and then limited integrations of science in foreign policy, and also the rapid pace of emerging technologies outstripping governance frameworks. However, if we look at the role of higher education institutions, research bodies, and funding agencies, this must address these barriers by acting as central players in science diplomacy. They can bridge gaps between national and international scientific communities through a joint research project, dual degree program, and participation in the international consortia. Additionally, this institution can facilitate the translations of scientific funding into policy by producing policy briefs, conducting foresight exercises, and fostering platforms for dialogue between scientists and policymakers. So within the Horizons Europe frameworks, the strategic and operational role of these entities is vital in linking different systems and reinforcing the global science network so that they're enhancing their contribution to the global science diplomacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Tata. You explained that in the platform Horizons Europe is they already have a complete package, yeah, especially for the early careers. So we can invite dear participants, especially for in the early stage of career, to try that. There are a lot of schemes that we can try, and later on we can upgrade through the a different scheme as well, right? So thank you. Okay, and then I continue to Dr. Andes. Dr. Andes, in your area, in the life science, is really dangerous, I think, because you do research with the microbes or other microorganisms that, to some extent, they perhaps have a like a benefit in certain things, perhaps in health or others, but on the other side, it could be dangerous. So we usually call it dual-use research or sensitive technologies. So as a scientist, how do you ensure trust and also the transparency when you are dealing with this kind of sensitive collaborations, Dr. Andes?
Oh, it was a tricky question and hard to answer, Ibu Tri. So I think ensuring trust and transparency in politically sensitive collaboration is a complex and crucial endeavor for scientists. And it required a multifaceted maybe approach that balance the pursuit of knowledge with ethical responsibilities and national security concerns. But I believe that trust and transparency will grow simultaneously with cooperation, with the activity, if the collaboration or cooperation is transparent. Therefore, building trust through collaboration, I think, is an important step. Perhaps the key words would be transparency and openness. I believe that before we executing a partnership or research activity or collaboration and so on, we should have an initial discussion with our collaborator to discuss the details of the collaboration itself. And in our experience, for example, with the Banana for Food project, for example, we have a long history of international collaboration, international partnership with the team. So, as mentioned by Prof. Edi Giri, I think they have chemistry within the team. They have trust within the team. So in other words, we are already familiar with each other before we run the project. So therefore, we don't have, in this case, we don't have a trust issue when we run the projects. So once again, I think and I believe that transparency and openness are essential for effective collaboration. Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anis. That's really interesting. You mentioned openness, and one thing I really interest on your sentence that trust will grow simultaneously,
Yeah.
by continuous activities, and we will maintain that, nurture that. So trust will grow by having the joint collaboration. So that's really wonderful. So for the second round, last but not least, I still have Professor Aki. Professor Aki, you have a very long history of your professional careers, not only BRIN and other research institutions. You also had experiences in universities as well. And I believe that throughout of your experiences, you have experience that can share to all of us today regarding how do you balance your national interests when you are partnering with the global challenges. Usually, for example, for the donor, usually they have their own goals, they have their own mission that sometimes, perhaps, it doesn't in line with your national priorities. So how do you balance that, Professor Aki?
Thank you, Putri. This is a very challenging question. But I do believe that science diplomacy plays a critical role in balancing national interests and global challenges by fostering cooperation, trust, and knowledge sharing across national borders. And I think based on my understanding and experience, science diplomacy can reconcile these challenges, especially when related to the national priority. And the question is where to draw the line. So I think scientists must carefully navigate the line between collaboration and national or regional priorities, and I believe at least there are three principal guides that include. Number one is ethical boundaries, collaboration should never compromise ethical standard. That's number one. And number two, in regard to strategic sensitivity, in cases where sensitive technologies or data are involved, scientists must respect national security concern while still advocating for open science and international norms. And lastly, in regard to equity and reciprocity, I think collaborations should ensure that research partnership, especially with foreign partners, are equitable, inclusive, and mutually beneficial. Ultimately, scientists engaged in diplomacy should strive to be both globally minded and locally responsive. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Oki. I really like your sentence when you mentioned that collaborations, we cannot compromise the ethical standard. That's the first rule of having the collaboration, and I couldn't agree more on that one. Okay, so I think we wrap up for the second round, and before we go to the final wrap up, I saw questions from the audience. Could be any one of you can give the response, but it doesn't necessarily all of you. Perhaps one or two. Professor Edigiri, if you may, you can also give a comment on that. This question is from Sristi Goel. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Is asking about the opinion from the speakers regarding why all the international organizations primarily focus on money and funding. Of course, we do understand that money is important, and there is no doubt on that one. But aren't there things to do without money, or can be done with less money? So perhaps speakers here can if you have experience when you are having collaboration with no money or less money on that one. And this is also an example at the UNFCCC. Only few countries submitted their NDCs, perhaps national determined contribution. So yeah, what's your opinion regarding these questions from Susi Goel? Any volunteer?
Well, I can.
Prof. Tata.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it's a very very interesting question, and of course, the primary focus of many international organizations on fundings reflects also the reality that financial resources are essential for implementing projects, and we experience all that. Not only implementing projects, but also building infrastructure and sustaining long-term initiatives. So without adequate funding, even the most intentioned effort can falter. However, money alone is not the sole drivers of progress, in my opinion. There are numerous approaches that require minimal financial investment, yet can have meaningful impacts. Like what I mentioned before, knowledge sharing. So that is why one of the most important pillar in Horizon Europe is open science. And then we have also capacity building, policy advocacy, and also fostering global collaborations. Now, if I put my head from the as a scientist, so from a scientific perspective, our role is to emphasize that the core of effective action it lies in political will, innovation, and also collective responsibility. So not just financial resources. So scientific community member advocate for practical and cost-effective solutions, public awareness, and strategic diplomacy that can often operate beyond the realms of big budgets. So funding is crucial, but this is not the only element. And genuine commitment, political will, and innovative low-cost solutions are equally important for making this tangible progress on the global issues like climate change. So it is shared responsibility, and science can serve as a natural and evidence-based voice, urging all stakeholders to prioritize actions over more just financial commitments. I think that's my personal view.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Tata. Yes, money is not everything, but we need that in a certain amount, at least adequate to finance all the activities. And you also mentioned that political will and other shared contribution for all of the partners is also meaningful. Thank you so much. And my dear speaker, because we have limited time, I think I can go on.
May I
Yes,
add some
Prof. Indi, would you like to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
I just add some a comment to complete the Professor Tatas. It's our personal view. So especially in the research sector. So I think why we need the money because the research is expensive. So for example, in health sectors, to research about infectious disease, genomic, I think is need high technology equipment, the high infrastructure, and mostly it's very expensive. And another needed, we need the skilled personnel, and research need a long term or need multi-years studies to keep sustainability of the scientific impact. So I think without the funding, without the money, research will difficult to run well. Thank you. Go back to Ibu Tri.
And thank you, Prof. Indi. Yeah, in your field, I think yes, it's also we need funding, yeah, for doing the research as well as the supporting equipment, because when you want to analyze substance, it needs very high advanced technology on that one. Thank you to elaborate this one and bring this. Okay, speakers, I think we can continue to the last round. It's a kind of a wrap up, and one of the goals from this webinar is how to increase and strengthen the network between the Asia and also the Europe and globally. So I would like to know from each of your perspective on how science diplomacy can be more institutionalized or better supported in Asia and Europe. It could be bilaterally or in a multilateral sectors. So I don't put any order, so any one of you can start if you would like to. Okay, you.
Maybe
Okay, Dr. Andes. So please, you'll be the
so
first.
it's final statement. Yeah, I think science diplomacy is an important tool for addressing global challenges. We are agreed on that one. And its institutionalization and stronger support in Asia and Europe bilateral and multilateral relation, of course, important. I think both region possess significant scientific and technological capabilities. We have, for example, we have biodiversity, and in Europe they have a technology, something like that one. And by leveraging this through scientific collaboration, I think we can generate more impactful solution for global challenge. I think science diplomacy can also be institutionalized or better supported in Asia and Europe relation. So along with platform and framework for improvement, for improvement, such as the first one is about the institutionalizing science diplomacy through strengthening the diplomacy units, maybe within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, including of science attaché or consular in diplomatic mission. And then the second one, expanding and improving platform for strategic and long-term cooperation, such as the Asia and Europe Foundation, ASEF. And the third one is about how we can strengthening the research collaboration, research mobility, pursuing master and PhD studies, postdoc, and yeah, of course, research activities itself. For example, using our research collaboration platform. I think by pursuing the right strategies, Asia and Europe can move beyond temporary or ad hoc collaboration to establish more robust, strategic, and institutionalized approach to science diplomacy, ensuring that scientific cooperation become a powerful and sustained force to address the shared challenge of this century. And lastly, of course, on behalf of the Research Organization for Life Sciences and Environment, I would like to invite you all to participate in our research activities through research collaboration platform. For example, for biodiversity expedition, terrestrial biodiversity expedition, and then banana for food, and also structural biology. That's all from me, and thank you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ernest. So, okay, anyone would like to continue for the final wrap up?
Yeah, let me wrap up the final statement. I would like to compliment what have already mentioned by Dr. Ernest. I think to institutionalize and better support science diplomacy in Asia-Europe relation, both regions must prioritize long-term structure collaboration mechanism that bridge scientific research with policy dialogue. In addition to Asia-Europe meeting, ASEM, I think ASEAN-EU dialogue and Pak Tatas Horizon Europe programs should be further leveraged and expanded to include dedicated science diplomacy. And I think I agree with Pak Ades that increasing cross-regional funding for collaborative research. So far, I know currently BRIN is managing EU Southeast Asia Joint Funding Scheme, and we need more than that, especially because I think obtaining research grant from Horizon Europe is very, very tough because what I understand, the success rate is only around 15%, I guess. So we need more new initiative in order to promote scientific collaboration. And also what BRIN has done, especially in promoting mobility and exchange program, in this case also good one, and we would like to see more funding will be allocated for that. So, and finally, I would like also to see how the science diplomacy can be transformed into a strategic pillar of Asia-Europe cooperation addressing shared global challenges such as climate change, public health, and digital governance. Thank you very much.
Prof. Hoki will take a note on that one. So, any other? Prof. Indi?
Thank
Okay,
you.
ladies, and then Prof. Tata.
Let's have the closing statement, I think. Okay, thank you, Ibu Tri. So, I think diplomacy, science diplomacy amplifies scientific impact. Without diplomacy, risk being underutilized, fragmented, and inequitable. Science diplomacy ensure fair benefit sharing, global funding access, and policy coherence. And the last one is also allows emerging economics to set global rules and norms around, especially in the health sector, for the health governments. Ibu Tri, I propose to Asia Europe, especially in health sectors. So I propose to help. I propose Asia Europe Health Vision. Number one, support the emphasis on aligning national health strategies within ASEF to strengthen regional health security and resilience. Scientific collaborations across member states should be fostered, particularly through harmonized, for example, disease monitoring system and joint research priorities. Evidence-based policymaking should be a cornerstone of the ASEF future health vision to ensure swift, strategic, and adaptive response to regional health challenges. And the last one, we also recommended to establish an Asian health research agenda that prioritize critical health issues such as communicable and non-communicable diseases, aging population, climate sensitive diseases, mental health, and transboundary animal and human diseases related to One Health. I think this agenda should be linking to national research programs and funded collaboratively to ensure sustainability and policy alignment across member states. Thank you, Ibu.
Thank you, Prof. Andi. Excellent proposal. I will take a note and put it on the report. Yeah, Lynn. Okay, last but not least, Prof. Tatas.
Thank you. Yeah, so first of all, also thank you, Prof. Oki already mentioned about Horizon Europe. Yes, to strengthen science diplomacy within Asia and Europe relation can be significantly advanced by leveraging this kind of existing framework like Horizon Europe, which exemplifies the successful international research cooperations and actually around ASEAN regions, the success rate is roughly about 28%, which is some of the programs, for example, like MSCA staff exchange, even higher, 40%. But this approach offer a model that can encourage ASEAN-wide collaboration while linking Asia to broader global research ecosystem. And I would like to highlight the role of academia again. Academic and research institutions in countries like Indonesia are essential for advancing science and technology diplomacy, and because these institutions serve as both formal and also informal bridges between national interests and also the international communities. And I would like to suggest two important and that from my perspective. First is preparing academic leaders for science diplomacy is very important because it involves equipping them with the skills and also mindset to operate effectively at the intersections of science policy and international relations. What I mean with the academic leaders is rectors, for example, vice rector, deans, directors, also principal investigator as well, So while traditional academic leadership has focused on research excellence and institutional growth, today's leaders must also be adept in navigating global diplomacy, engaging with governments, multilateral organizations, and cross-border consortia. And then the second one is it is very important to nurture future generations. So that's why integrating science diplomacy into the curricula, the university curricula, and also research agendas is vital for developing a new generation of scientists and also policymakers, because these individuals will be well prepared to navigate and promote Indonesia interest on the global stage, ultimately fostering strategic long-term cooperation between Asian and European scientists and policymakers. And by doing so, they will contribute to more integrated, more cohesive global scientific communities, enhancing the effectiveness and reach of science diplomacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. That's really great points, and I couldn't agree more on that one. Dear speakers, it's all about the time. It's already 5 o'clock in Jakarta. We have to end this session, so we thank you very much. Today we already covered a lot of things about science diplomacy, and thankfully enriched by your thoughtful reflection, valuable context in each of your roles in your institutions, and also your experiences. So with that, I give it back to Ms. Ragnell. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dimitri, for that facilitation, to all of our panelists for your contributions and for sharing your expertise with our attendees for today's session. It's been very insightful to learn more about the ways in which academic institutions are contributing to this field, and the importance of highlighting those aspects as well, both institutions themselves, but also the way that BRIN contributes to this field of research and development. Thank you for your time and for being with us here today. For our attendees, thank you also for being with us. Allow me to do some final wrap up before we close today's session on a matter of points. This is our second workshop, and next week we have our third and final session on Indonesia and the ecosystem related to science and technology diplomacy, in which we'll be focusing on the role of businesses and private sector. So if you are interested in joining and you have not yet signed up, please scan the QR code and do so. We're also running along the Indonesia workshops on the ecosystem in Thailand. So if you're interested in signing up for those workshops, you can do so by scanning the corresponding QR code. You also here have a QR code to read the Asia-Europe Science and Technology Diplomacy Report, which is the mapping that we did last year on the strategies and actions in our member countries, which of course includes Indonesia if you're interested in learning more. Also, just quickly on the note mentioned by Professor Tatas, we are also running this year a pilot training on science and technology diplomacy for young diplomats and scientists who are interested in learning more on how we can interact in this field, how you as a diplomat can navigate scientific terms, how do we bridge this gap in understanding what role policymaking and science has to play in this international field. So if you are someone who is working in the diplomatic scene within the policy making sector, or you are a young research manager yourself, then you can learn more about that as well on our website. So thank you so much everyone for being here today. I hope to see you again next week to learn more about the Indonesia ecosystem. Thank you very much.